Hello, my name is Alexia and I'm the founder of Head Trash. Now, behind Head Trash is our proprietary head trash clearance method, which is a really powerful healing tool. And I've been using that for over a decade to help people to get rid of their phobias, their depression, their anxiety, and self-sabotage, all that stuff. But today, this video isn't about that because I've recently set up a new company called the Ladder of Growth. And that's what I want to talk about with you today. So the Ladder of Growth is a next gen company, and this is all about creating a tool that helps you to manage, measure and track your personal and professional growth. And the reason I started this is because with the work that I was doing at Head Trash, because Head Trash clearance is so potent and it works so fast, I was able to see in my clients growth and change happening in front of my eyes, like from week to week. And because it was so fast, I was really able to see that and observe that change in a way that you wouldn't really be able to observe that if it was happening over an extended period of time. And so I started documenting the changes that I was seeing. And, because I've worked with a whole range of people like business owners, CEOs, but also people struggling with anxiety. I've worked a lot in the pregnancy and birth space because of the journey that I've been on. And so that's meant that I've worked with things like depression as well. And so I've got a very wide range of life and work aspects where head trash shows up. And therefore, when I've been helping people to clear their head trash around those things, I've been able to see how they've evolved, how they've changed as a result of the inner work that we've done. And so over time, I've been compiling this great big epic spreadsheet, if you like, of all of the ways that people change as they evolve. And it was really AI that helped me to unlock all of this and to really extrapolate it and really analyze it in quite some detail. And so that is what has led to the Ladder of Growth, which is this tool that I've now created. And so with Head Trash, I was using early versions of the Ladder of Growth to measure the work that I was doing as a head trash clearance practitioner. Now, my background is business and marketing, and I love metrics. And I was struggling with the idea that there weren't any metrics around doing healing and coaching and inner work, other than asking somebody, well, how do you feel? And they go, well, I feel better than last week. And you're like, well, what about hormones? If they come flying in, then how are you going to feel? Like, how do we know really if somebody is feeling better? How do we know that they're getting better, that they're improving? How do we know the coaching's working? How do we know the meditation's working? How do we know, right? We don't. And this is what I want to try and solve with the Ladder of Growth. And this is what I have been solving and seeing in the work that I was doing at Head Trash. But I thought this needed to be separated, and hence the Ladder of Growth. So that's what this is all about. It's about it's a system that makes growth visible, because unfortunately, a lot of that growth is happening under the hood, it's happening subconsciously, and we're not really able to make it tangible. So this is really for people that are really interested in their own personal development, but also for professionals, so growth professionals like coaches and therapists and healers and HR, culture change people, anybody that's working around the field of change in positive change, right? So that's what this is for. So why now? Well, as I said, AI has really unlocked this and helped me to do work that just would have taken me forever to do on my own. And so that's why this is happening right now. The tech is now available for me to leverage what I've developed and to make sense of it and turn it into something that's useful, turn it into a tool that we can use, right? But the other part of this is there's this huge obsession with everyone around productivity and about performance. But actually what we need to be thinking about is human growth, is humanity and how we're evolving and how we're growing. And unfortunately, there's not a lot within that space that enables us to do that in a meaningful way, to track it in a meaningful way. We're obsessed with our Fitbit trackers and our Apple Watches and having apps like Strava and all these things that are tracking all this data points around us. But what is tracking our own inner world, our own level of consciousness, the way that we are performing, the way that we're interacting, responding, our emotional state, our mental well-being? It's this tool is bringing all of that together, because ultimately when you're at work, if you're struggling with anxiety, you're not going to be performing very well. So you need to be working on that stuff in order to show up better at work, right? So it's all interconnected. We can't be looking at these things in these individual silos. And the Ladder of Growth tool brings all of this together. And that's what's really exciting. So we've got like personal growth tracks and professional growth tracks. And that's what we're developing. But anyway, so this is what I'm going to be recording these videos because I want to share this journey with you. because it's really exciting and I want to just really show behind the scenes of what we're doing. So we are currently 6 weeks in to the ladder of growth. We officially started on the 1st of September, and I've got co-founder and I've got also strategic advisor together as a team, and we're developing stuff at the moment. So I've got some notes, which is why I keep looking over here, because I want to make sure I share with you what we have been doing, because the last 6 weeks have been pretty busy, right? We've been doing a lot of stuff, as well as wrapping other stuff up to give us more time to be able to focus on this, because I've got my head trash business that still needs my attention. So I'm stripping that down, simplifying that so that I don't have to be as involved in it, but I'm not parking that by any means. And also now building up the ladder of growth. So big thing. We pressed go, officially go on the 1st of September. And so, we've set up the brand. So, some things I've done in the last month include getting all the branding sorted, the color palette. Now, also, all of this, websites, all that good stuff, right? AI has helped with all of this, right? Right now, we are bootstrapping. We are not spending any money. We've got, this is a new company. We're literally about to set up the business bank account. There's no money in the pot, right? We are literally bootstrapping this from the beginning. So everything is being AI powered as best we can, right? So that includes all of the branding, all the visual stuff that's happened, the websites that are still very early days. We've been using AI to help us get a lot of this done. Now, my background's branding and marketing and business and all of that stuff. So I've been grateful for all the times I've spent with the design agencies and brilliant designers to help, to at least for me to know what good looks like. Doesn't mean I'm a great designer, right? But it does mean that I can kind of wing it until I can hire a good team, which is not right now. So we've started things. We've got the brand, the structure, the domain, the brand ecosystem, if you like. I'm all about brand ecosystems and the world that the brand creates. So really, we've given that a lot of thought. And even though a lot of it isn't live and it's not going to be live yet, we know what the vision looks like, and that's super clear. And of course it can evolve, but we've got a really good starting point right now. We've also mapped out the MVP, the minimum viable product. So let me just talk a little bit about what it's all about, how we're doing all this. So at the moment, we have these assessments that you are able to do depending on which growth journey you want to get some feedback, some insight on. So we've got our core assessment, if you like, the core ladder of growth assessment, which is all about your own personal growth journey. But then we also have these other personal growth journeys that we're doing at the moment. So the anxiety healing journey, or the growth journey, if you're wrestling with anxiety, to know what categories of anxiety are really holding you back and where you need to focus on. So that's great for therapy, or in my head trash world, that's exactly where we'd be focusing our attention in terms of doing head trash clearance. Then we got the ADHD journey, which is about taming your ADHD or channeling its superpower so it doesn't kind of control you, you are mastering it. So we've got an ADHD growth assessment also. And then on the professional side at the moment, we've got the therapist growth assessment, and which is our focus for our MVP. We have the coach growth assessment, and then we have the entrepreneur growth assessment. And the reason that I've picked those three is really because, that's my journey, right? So I've been a coach. People call me a therapist. I'm not officially a therapist, but it's definitely what the world I'm in. And I train therapists. So I've worked a lot in terms of helping therapists to sort out their inner world and to be better therapists. I train them as part of my Head Trash Practitioners program. So this is all stuff that I'm intimately connected with. But the important point here about these three professional journeys is that the entrepreneur, the coach, and the therapist, their nervous system is their business system. If their nervous system is fried, they are not going to be able to show up and do their work in the best way, right? They're going to burn out, and therefore their livelihood is on the line. As an entrepreneur, you've got all the things going on, and I know that very, very well. I've been an entrepreneur since the financial crash when I set up my business. So I'm intimately familiar with the ups and downs and the lots of downs that come with the entrepreneurial journey. But throughout that time, I've been a coach, and I've also been training therapists and developing a therapeutic healing model, right? So this is my world and what I know really well. So this is where we're starting. And the first assessment that we're doing deeply and we're fleshing out at the moment is the therapist one. So we've been working all in on this one, training our AI tools with all my research so that we can create these in-depth assessments and insights and reports for people to really help them understand where they're at, how they can move forward. Because the thing that that is really important about what ladder of growth does is the ladder of growth model doesn't just take a snapshot of where you are now, but we're also giving you growth moves, because at the moment it's all very well saying, well, I am, but how do I get up to the next rung on the ladder? Well, we're going to show you. This is what we're going to tell you as part of this report. That's why this report is so in depth, because for every category that we're evaluating, we're also helping you to see, well, if you want to move up here, this is how you do it. These are the things you should be looking at. And then we want to be looking at partners that we can collaborate with, that can work with us, that we can direct people towards. Now, at the moment on the ladder model, we've got 5 key archetypes that represent 5 key rungs on the ladder. And these archetypes show up, we with every category that we're assessing, we'll tell you which of the 5 archetypes you're expressing in that area and how you can get to the next one up, right? So that growth journey is mapped across all of these different categories, whether it's the anxiety journey, whether it's the ADHD journey, or whether it's a professional journey, that the ones I've talked about. So so what we've been doing, we've got the MVP that we've mapped out, the assessment for the therapist. So we're looking at pricing, we're looking at how can we get this out there. We've got a training that we're creating, that we're going to be running a training in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, so you can keep your eyes peeled for that. We're also talking to, we want to make this CPD friendly so that people can register their CPD units. So we want to make this a meaningful piece of personal development, professional development for therapists, at least, because they are the other part of this, which really needs to be said, is that it doesn't need to be said really, because we all know this, but there's a mental health crisis right now. I mean, the world is struggling big time. And those that are trained to get us through this are the therapists, right? And we need them to be on their A game. We need them to be like shit hot and on it, right? But how can they do that when it's difficult to measure that personal growth? How can they better themselves, improve themselves, and they haven't necessarily got a framework to do that? So this is a really powerful tool to help the therapists to have that visibility on themselves, so that they can now start identifying where they need to be in order to be an incredible therapist that can create amazing results. Because we need therapists to be on their A game. We need them to be those people for us right now, because quite frankly, there are not enough of them to go round, and the ones that are there have got a lot on their shoulders. So we really need to support them as best they can. And as you know what they say, what you measure improves. So this whole venture is that, once we start measuring growth, measuring our inner world, we can start improving it, and that is only going to have a ripple effect in terms of the world that we live in, right? So what let me just check my notes. What we done, the first therapist one, that's the one we're doing, which is kicking off very soon. We're currently doing some test runs. We did a test run earlier this year and built on that feedback, and now we're doing the second iteration of that. So we're on version 2 at the moment, and then once we've got the feedback from version 2, we're going to run with version 3 as our first public product. So that's what's going on right now. And we're also looking at how can we automate some of this. So the AI part of this, this has had a lot of, there's a lot of my work that's gone into this in terms of all of the inputs that I've learned over the last, more than a decade in doing lots of head trash work with lots and lots of people. But extrapolating this, pulling it out, putting it to models, scaling it. This is where we're using AI now to try and automate. We're looking at agents. We're looking at how can we automate the work that I've done so that we can create this on scale for as many people as possible at an affordable price. We can't be creating these reports like the ones I'm doing at the moment. The time putting these together is phenomenal, right? And that's not going to scale. So we've got to go through this to figure out, we've got to go through this painful early part, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. So what else have we been doing? Let me look at well, we've also set up a school community. So School is a new platform, a community-based platform. And so we've got Ladder Lab over on the School. We've literally just set it up. We've not done anything there yet. But really the idea for Ladder Lab is to set up a community of people that are into following what we're doing, to be our beta testers, to give us the feedback, and also to, and who knows where that might go. But as you're on the growth journey and you're sharing, oh my goodness, well, I did this based on the report. Oh, and this has really worked for me, really to start giving us that kind of feedback so that we can start getting real time and real human feedback based on how people are using the report, how we can make it better, but also we're all on a personal growth journey. If you don't, whatever grows, if it does not grow, it dies, right? People want to grow. So if you're interested in being part of that community where, I'm going to be in there every day and we're going to be sharing stuff there first, then come and join Ladder Lab on School. I'll put a link somewhere below this, right? What else we got? We're also working with a tech person at the moment to start mapping out what does this look like in terms of the tech vision. So we're working with somebody at the moment on that as well, and who knows where that's going to go. But tech is a huge part of what we're doing. So yeah, there's we've got an app a no-code app that we're also building behind the scenes. We're looking at how we can connect lots of brilliant what our tech stack's going to look like, because there are a lot of phenomenal tools and we simply can't keep up. There's so much coming out every week that it's hard. We find one, we start building something around it, and then it's superseded 2 weeks later, like, oh my goodness. So it's keeping up with this is really, really quite challenging right now, but also fun. And as a geek, I love it. let me say that. What else we got? We've got we're looking at team and the founder role. So as a founder, I've been also getting my head around what this looks like in terms of having co-founders on board. For Head Trash, I'm a full owner of that. I don't have any. I've had people wanting to pitch me investment in the past. So I've been looking at cap tables and things like that, and investor and equity and all of that before. But now I'm approaching Ladder with a very, very different mindset, and grateful to that experience I had before. So so looking at all of the setting at the structure of the company as well. We've already had some investor interest that I'm waiting now for a meeting, because somebody's already said they want to invest a significant sum in the business. So who knows where that's going to go. I'm not going to get excited because, if it's not in these things, it's no point getting excited ahead of time. But what that does tell me is that what we're doing is very clearly understood. There's clearly a problem that it's solving. And to make that clear, like, what is the problem that we're solving? The problem that we're solving is, how do I know it's working, right? I've done the coaching, I've done the affirmations, I'm doing my meditation every morning, I've got my mindfulness app subscription, I'm doing all the things, but how do I know it's working? Right now you don't, and it probably isn't. If you're still in therapy for anxiety 3 years later, spoiler alert, it's not working, right? You need to find something else. So having a way to measure that, so you can go, hang on a minute, I'm spending money over here and that's not moving the needle. Right, now I can make an informed decision, and I'm going to go try this over here and then measure it, track it, and see if that works, right? So that's the problem that Ladder is solving, is how do I know it's working? And typically my computer's just gone to sleep, right? What else are we doing? So investor interest, which is very exciting. What else have we doing? I think that's kind of where we're at. Drafted the, this is it. I don't know what else is there to say. I think I've gone on long enough already. So I'm documenting this journey. My aim is to do this on a weekly basis so that I can share what we're doing behind the scenes, and really to show what's going on, because I love following stuff like this, and hopefully others will want to join in and follow what we're doing and be part of that growth, right? We'll be part of the growth together. So thank you for watching. My name's Alexia, and do come and find us at ladderofgrowth.io. See you next time. Bye.